Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to talk about what we're likely and what we will be getting in Star Citizen Alpha 2.1, the latest patch that will go live by the end of 2015. So we'll have it within the next 2 weeks. We saw some amazing things during the Holiday Livestream and then the Anniversary Livestream before that, but what are we actually going to be able to hold and play? What are we going to next get our hands on? There are definitely going to be some new ships for Star Citizen Alpha 2.1. The Freelancer base model will be flyable. If you own a variant of a Freelancer, you will receive a loaner Freelancer base for Arena Commander and Port Olisar. This is quite an exciting ship for a lot of people. The Freelancer is a true multi-crew ship, but is also quite multi-role, and it suits a huge range of purposes in the verse, and it has a solid combat potential too. This will also include the rework of the Freelancer. The Freelancer has been receiving a massive facelift, bringing it in line with ships like the Constellation. It's going to look beautiful. The concept art looks absolutely fantastic. The Saber will be hangar ready too. So the Saber is a ninja fighter that was announced during CitizenCon on October 10th, and it's going to be hangar ready before the end of the year. So this is partially due to it not needing any special mechanics to be created. So it's not a mining ship or whatever. It doesn't need any extra mechanics. It's a straight combat fighter with a stealth profile. But the other reason why it's been created for the hangar so quickly is that they've been really getting that ship pipeline and asset creation incredibly streamlined, so it's all so much quicker than we had originally a year ago. I'm hoping for something beautiful looking in this Saber. It's a ship that I own. It's probably the main combat ship I will own as well, and I hope when it's flight ready it will be a match for the Super Hornet. So there are also a few possibilities of other ships that might be hangar ready, or flight ready even. The Vanguard is already hangar ready. It's possible that it might be made flight ready in 2.1, whether that's a bit of a long shot, but it might also receive some asset updates for being hangar ready in 2.1, so it might get a little bit of a facelift. Another possibility is the Herald might be hangar ready. So we know that the Herald has been receiving a lot of work recently, and there's rumblings on the grapevine that it's pretty much ready for hangar. Now, it's whether or not they decide to release it, or if it needs like a final polish. The Starfarer as well, so it's quite possible that the Starfarer will be hangar ready. We saw a lot of the Starfarer's assets in the Holiday Livestream, and we know it's been worked on and polished. I would expect the Starfarer to be ready possibly for 2.1, or if not, then very soon afterwards, so early January at the latest. We also know that the Reliant is almost hangar ready too, but I would again expect this in early January. It did need a bit of a polish. It was just the internal assets. The externals needed texturing, and lots of pretty stuff needs to be done to that to really polish it up to be asset ready. So what about some new features for 2.1? We know we're getting physicalized EVA as a feature. So basically, we're going to get an IFCS model, which is like the ship model, but for EVA suits and for EVAing. So that combined with much better animations, this is going to help bring zero-G and movement in space up to a significantly better standard than we currently have in 2.0. Optimizations to CPU and GPU have constantly been an issue with Star Citizen, and there's been a lot of improvements recently. There's been loads and loads of CPU issues, though, mainly with CPU bottlenecking and problems with threading. 2.1 should have a lot less of those issues. A lot of them should be hammered out for better performance. Stability for 2.0, again, massive issue, and the 2.1 update and updates to Port Olisar in the future should be coming quite fast, but they should never be as extreme as the release of 2.0 was. Hopefully that means that we'll never have a 5-minute crash every second kind of thing. That was pretty annoying. But as we know, all the studios have been working on helping with stability, so I would expect 2.1 to have a lot more stability than we've seen with 2.0 so far. The Million Mile High Club is a private meeting area where owners can invite other players or org members. It's very exclusive. Only 100 people should have access, and they were the first 100 people to buy a $10,000 package. So it's pretty damn exclusive. The only other way you can get there is to be invited, which is obviously limited, and to get 1,042 referrals. That will also earn you entry into the Mile High Club permanently. So this is going to be the first iteration of the actual Million Mile High Club introduced to the game. And it should be in 2.1. In fact, the assets were included in 2.0, but I expected it required some extra polish or they couldn't get it fully working in the way they intended. So I would expect to have it for 2.1 unless they're keeping it back for some reason. So I want to talk about a few possibilities that might be included in 2.1, or at least some limited iteration of it. So shopping and some persistence. So we know they've been working hard on getting the Saber clothing outlet in the Art Corp Area 18 done. So I expect that to be in 2.1 or 2.2 release. And it will be the first iteration of shopping and maybe even some limited character outfit customization to at least a slightly larger degree than we have now. This will be you being able to purchase items in-game in the Saber outlet and it persisting on your account without the need for it to be purchased directly through a website. We also know that the Frankfurt office has been working on that size 4 Death Ballistic Gatling gun by Apocalypse Arms. So this is a nose-mounted gun that the Vanguard will use, but it's also the first gun that's going to be using their new multi-layered shaders, and will be their gold standard for ship weapons. Even if the Vanguard isn't ready, which I suspect it might be, but we'll have to see, it's possible that this weapon will be. And size 4 weapons can be mounted on the Hornet and the Cutlass with the correct mounts, as we know. The matchmaking and party system. Basically, they said that this won't be fixed for 2.1, but for me, this is one of the major things that we need in Port Olisar. A way to join in with our friends without hours of faffing around, and basically, there is a party system, and there is a friends system, and you can occasionally see when your friends are in games, but most of the servers are full, or when you join them, you'll get errors and you'll crash out. There needs to be a much quicker, easier way of being able to join friends, and I hope they put something, even if it's just a bodge for 2.1, but otherwise we're waiting for 2.2 until we get proper matchmaking and party systems. So in the not too distant future, after 2.1, we're likely to see more shopping and then the Nyx landing zone thereafter. I hope we get into our little grubby hands those procedurally generated planetoid things that they did. So we saw in the Holiday Livestream, them do Delamar, whatever it's called, which is basically the Nyx landing zone. It's a large asteroid hidden out in an asteroid belt, which has got its own atmosphere. And that basically acts as the Nyx landing zone. I mean, we saw it working. We saw it working in that tech demo there. So when it gets into our hands, it's going to be awesome. It might be crashy as hell, but it looks cool. And at some point soon, we're going to see NPCs walking about and a much greater degree of animation for them than we currently have at the moment. Anyway, guys, 2.1 will be in our hands before the new year. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. Star Citizen is coming along. Massive leaps and bounds now. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me. Merry Christmas and all that jazz, and I will see you in the verse.